Okay, so we're holding Torah Zion. We are actually holding Sifei. Just a quick review. Is Rachmanis, we said you need Das to know how to give Rachmanis. Yesterday we came up with this understanding that this Das of how to give compassion, not just feel compassion, but do the right compassion, is basically understanding what not to do. Which means there are people that I'm not allowed to be merachim on, like Rishoim, Gazlanim, and Roitzchim. And then even people that I am allowed to be merachim, I have to know how to give the proper rachmanis, and knowing what the recipient needs is basically knowing what he doesn't need. That means what can be harmful for him. Because rachmanis, if you give a child steak, you're going to hurt the child. So it means you kill the child. So it means that rachmanis means to know what to give to each recipient and what not to give. So the das that I need for Rachmanis is basically more on what not to do than what yes to do. Because the emotion of Rachmanis, we explained, I need Mesiras Nefesh. I need to be able to self-sacrifice. What blocks me from giving Rachmanis is the I don't want to self-sacrifice. I'm self-absorbed. I want for me. I want the money for me. I want the time for me. I want the emotions for me. So the Mesiras Nefesh is what gives me the ability to do something with my emotion of Rachmanis. However, I need das, and the das that we need is really what not to do. Who was this profile of a real Rachman? We said Moshe Rabbeinu, because Moshe Rabbeinu was a leader, and he will be a leader. Why was he a leader? Because he sacrificed to the 10th level of sacrifice to be able to give Mesiras Nefesh and be sacrificing his entire spirituality for Klal Yisrael. Like the Torah tells us, the Eibishter told him, I'll make you into a big nation, and I'll wipe all of Klal Yisrael out. And he said, no, erase me spiritually, erase me physically. He was Moshe Nefesh and had no self-interest at all. And what did he do for Klal Yisrael? The Rebbe says he was Oisik b'Yeshuva Shalom. He was busy populating the world with Bnei Adam, human beings. And what is a human being? A human being is das. Because if you don't have das, and then you're not a human being, you're an animal in the form of a human being, says the Rebbe. So Moshe Rabbeinu was Isaac the whole time to bring das into the world, like it says, Ata, Harezel Das, Ki Hashem Elokim. Moshe Rabbeinu brought in the das and what is the das? To say that there is a God that rules the earth, that everything that happens is God and the spirituality behind it, and it's not logical, and it's not what we think, but there's something bigger. It's not Teva and Gashmis that control the world, but it's that God controls the world. This das that he brings in is understanding the Rachmanis. Is in order to bring this das is you have to understand that the biggest Rachmanis is the averis of a person. That a person, not just an individual, but Klal Yisrael does averis. They're not someone who has das and has Yediyas Hashem knows that lefi the kedusha of every individual Jew and Klal Yisrael globally, there's not shaykh to avera. Avera and them do have no connection. So they're incapable of carrying the averis. And all the yisurim that a person suffers in the world he's only suffering because of his averis. Like it says, Ein yisurim b'lo yovam. So when a person is suffering from his averis, so the person who's a Rachman, who's able to have Rachman, is able to see beyond the physical, emotional suffering and understands the spiritual suffering of the inability of him to carry his averis. Because be'etzem, why did the person do an aver? Because he didn't have das. So the tzaddik who has Rachmanis, he is trying to bring in das into the world. Then the Rebbe explained to us this thing of das, that the tzaddik brings in das into the world. This concept of das is something that's not just while the person is alive, because the ikar tainug of Hashem, the pleasure that Hashem has, is when we serve Him from this world, like it says, v'avisa tehila, that the Eibishter has a desire for the praise, migushe chaymer, mikrutzei chaymer migushe afa, from the ones who are most materialistic, from the ones who are lumps of clay and mounds of sand. So Memela, the Eibishter wants us to serve Him. Because Ba'etzim up there, He has Malachim, Srafim, Chayas, He has angels and fire angels and animalistic angels. He has every type of angel that's serving Him. He doesn't really need us there to serve Him when we depart from this world. Navas, He puts us into this world to come in this world and reveal Him and serve Him from this Olam HaShafel Hazeh, from this low world. And that the only way to be able to serve him that way is through das, through this thing of having das and being able to connect to the spirituality that there is beyond the screen of physicality. Says the Rebbe. So Memela, a person, it can't be that when a person departs from this world, that there's nothing left in this world, because once he departs in this world, he's up in the next world, and the Eibush has bigger servants up in the next world. So it must be that a person, when he has to, in his avodah of recognizing Hashem, it's not just personally for him to recognize Hashem, but to leave the das in the world. How does a person leave the das in the world when he departs from the world? The Rebbe says that there are two ways, because we learn from the pasuk Asher ein chalifas lama, that there was no substitute. And Chazal, there's a machlokes, Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Shimon ben Levi, what is a substitute? Is it a son or a talmud? The Rebbe says either way, whether it's a son or a talmud, it is because a son, that's a Rasha. There's no mile of having a son in Russia. So the main son that I have is the son that's carrying my das, that takes my das and carries it further. And certainly a Talmud that's learning Torah from me, he also is carrying my das in this world. So that even when we depart from the world, the das stays in the world. The Rebbe says it's nechshav ki'ilu hu mamash ba'olam, as if he's still in this world serving Hashem, because his das is still in this world. Says the Rebbe. So a person that understands this, understands that he can do this. How is he going to do this? Because he can make Talmidim. How does he make Talmidim? By talking to his chaver with Yiras Shamayim, by talking to his chaverim about the tachlis, by talking to his chaverim about the Eibishter, by sharing a shtickle Torah with your chaver. That is giving to your chaver das, and then he tells you a shtickle Torah, and he's giving you das. So he becomes a Talmud by you, and because be'etzem the Talmud is also a ben. Because the Talmud is the Gemara says that kol hamlamed ben chaverei Torah ki'ilu asod. It's as if he created him. So the Talmud is a ben, and the ben is a Talmud. Why are they both? Why the Rebbe is like making the machlokes that even if you hold ben or Talmud, either way it goes both ways, because the whole purpose is to leave das in this world. And when you leave das in this world, that's your substitution, and it's as if you're serving Hashem from this world even after you depart from this world. And the Rebbe says that's pshat in the pasuk chalifos, substitution. That the das becomes a chalifos, a substitution through the ben or the tam, and that's why chalifos, the Rosh Hashanah, pi yehega pi daber chachmos the libi tfunos. That my mouth is talking chachma and my heart is talking bina. That we said that when chachma and bina come together, that's das. So what will make chalipin in the world? What will make a substitution for me in the world? When I leave the das in the world, how do I leave the das in the world? Through a ben and Talmud, and each one of us can achieve that all the time. And when we meet each other and we teach each other, we share our inspirations of das, our inspirations of Hashem in this world. That's when we're zeicha to this chalifos, that we're serving Hashem in this world, even when we depart from this world. Now we're holding Sifhei. Says the Rebbe, Amna, mi sheroitz l'dam b'chaver b'Yerushalayim. Someone who wants to talk to his friend in Yerushalayim, who tzarich sheyeh lo Yerushalayim. In order to talk to your friend in Yerushalayim, you have to have Yerushalayim. Kidei sheyeh dvarav nishma me'etz hachaver, k'ma shomar Chazal, kol mi sheyesh bo Yerushalayim dvarav nishma. In order for me to inspire you with my das question, I was thinking about it. Why is it called Yiras Shamayim and not Yiras Ha'aretz? Why is it? I'm asking a different question. We'll get into this. Why is it called Yiras Shamayim and not Yiras Ha'aretz? Why don't I have fear from the earth the same way I don't have fear from Shamayim? What's the fear that I have from Shamayim that I don't have in Aretz? No Shleim? I want you to look outside here. Look at this guy. Look at the picture behind me. If you start contemplating the picture, you will understand that the ocean there's an ocean here, and there's a sky and clouds and a beach, and you see the bigness of this creation, and you look at yourself here, you understand you're one little tiny speck, and this is one fraction of the world, of this Shamayim, of this beautiful big picture. And Shamayim more than Aretz, because in Aretz I have explanations of what is going on. I see a tree, I define it. I see in Shemayim, the only thing I can define in Shemayim are the clouds. Other than that, I have no idea. I don't even know how to describe it. So when I contemplate its bigness, its awesomeness, I'm in awe. I'm in awe. It makes me feel small. When I'm in awe, I feel, and that's what yira really is. Yira is, we understand it as fear. Of course it's fear. Because when you look at your smallness, you're saying, how can I serve Hashem? How can I be connected to this big picture? So the real yira is the awness. I'm in awe. I am so small. I feel like all I have want is I want to be included in this, because I don't have an identity without in this bigness, and therefore I'm in fear because I'm nothing. So Yira Shemayim means, be'emes, it means that I recognize the awness and the bigness of the Creator and the creation, which is bigger than me and so much bigger than me that I have no way of connecting to it unless I serve it, unless I am including myself into it. And the way that I include myself into it is to serve this orders. So that is called Yira Shemayim. A feeling the presence of something so big that makes me so small that the only way for me to connect to that is through serving it, being part of it. So if I have Yira Shemayim, then the words that I say to another person are heard. If I have no Yira Shemayim, then the words don't stay. What does it mean they're heard? He hears the words, but there's no impact, there's no inspiration, and that doesn't stay. And Mamela, my das doesn't stay. So says the Rebbe, we need that the words should not just be heard. There should be a kiyum to these words by my friend. Because sometimes you talk to your friend and immediately the words go in one ear and out the other ear. It doesn't touch his heart. And these words don't stay by him at all. Therefore, I need for this Yira Shemayim. Because the person who is Yira of his fear of sin is before his Chachma, like the Mishnah says, then his Chachma will be there. That means, if I am learning the Chachma in order to fear, then it's not going to have a kiyum. But if I go into the Chachma from a place of Mekabel, from a place of Yiras Chet, then Chachmasam is Kayam, is Hainish Yeshkim Ledvarav Etzachaver, that there's a kiyum to his words by his friend, Nimtza. So the Rebbe is proving it, that if a person wants that his friend, his words should have a kiyum, and the reason why he wants that his words should have a kiyum, because he needs his friend to become a Talmud by him in order for his das to have a kiyum, then he has to have Yira Shemayim. Because Yira Shemayim brings kiyum. It brings kiyum to his chachma, and when it brings kiyum to his chachma, then the words that are going into him are heard, and there's a kiyum. It sounds like the Rebbe is saying that his words should be heard b'chlal, that the guy should even let it in b'chlal, that you need Yira Shemayim for. And that the words should have a kiyum by him, it has to have chachma. And in order for the chachma, you also need Yira Shemayim. So mainly you need Yira Shemayim in order for your das to stay in the world. Says the Rebbe V'zeu, that's the pshat in the pasuk. Asher ein chalifa salama, that there is no.
So he wants to put in to this friend. Does he want to put in das or Yira Shemayim? What does he want to do?
Yirat Shamayim. He needs to have dat in order to give to the friend. Yirat Shamayim.
Correct.
Yeah, but he's trying to put in das. He starts with he wants to put in Yira Shemayim, and then he finishes Mi Shiroi Tzil Achnes Oravayde Yira Shemayim das.
So let's go backwards. What is das? What is the das that he's putting in? The Rebbe said, "Atar reisel das ki Hashem Elokim ein oid milvado." You, Moshe Rabbeinu, we have. That's the example of giving of and making an example. Atar reisel das. You showed us what das is. What is the das? That the Eibishter is Elikim. The Rebbe says, Yesh Elikim Shalad Baras, that there is a controller to everything that happens in everything in the world. Ein oid malvadai. There's nothing but him that's controlling it. It's not you. It's not logic. It's not teva. It's not what we think it is. Ein oid malvadai. There is nothing else. That is the das. In order for me to give that das, and tell somebody, if I have no Yerushalayim, even if I say the words, he's not listening to me. I have no credibility. We could go pashtus, I have no credibility, because it's a process to get that this das. I need to have Yerushalayim, and to give this das, I need to have Yerushalayim. So,
but that's not how he starts.
Let's finish this eve. And that's pshat in the pasuk Asher ein chalifas lomer, the pasuk that the Rebbe brought previously, that there is no substitute v'lo yoru alikim, and they didn't fear God. Hainu k'she'ein nishadat achrav ayidei ben oitalmud. We said chalifos is either a ben or talmud that machlif is das. Chalifos. If you don't have that, zeh simen shelo yoru alikim. So he's saying like this: if a guy departs from the world and you see no das is left from him, there's no child, and there's no talmidim left from him, it's a siman that he didn't have Yerushalayim.